I know you were waiting for it. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Mompe. In case you're here for the first time, my name is Matsunaga and I'm a fully trained and certified kimono teacher and stylist. This is the fourth video of my 4-week Hakama special that took a little while, but I really enjoy making series about different things. I already did this for the kimono undergarment Nagajuban, and this time it was all about Hakama. If you haven't watched the other videos yet, I'll link them down below and have fun with those videos. I think I have introduced this video as a tutorial, but it's actually a DIY. I am no professional when it comes to kimono tailoring. I am studying it professionally, so I go to a kimono tailor academy school where they actually teach me how to tailor kimono, and I already studying kimono tailoring for 5 years now, and I'm still a pure amateur. So I wouldn't actually really teach you how to do different things, but I would try to explain it as good as I can. Usually kimono tailoring wouldn't use any pattern. You don't use patterns for kimono, and I love that. But I will share my pattern with you that I received from my first kimono tailoring teacher. It took me 3 years to finally alter it to my size and really do it. And I actually plan to put it on my homepage in the real size, so you can just print it out and use it. I'm not sure if I will be able to make this. I had a really busy week, don't ask. And I'm going to Germany soon, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. If you are desperately looking for it or watching this video in the future, I hopefully already put that up, so check the link down below. Okay, so let's start with the pattern. So let me talk you through this. We start with a rectangle. The length of the rectangle should be the length from the middle of your waist to your ankles. In my case, that was 1 meter and 1 centimeter, and I actually added a few centimeters into that already because I thought when it's too long, I always can cut it if I don't like it. Width is 35 centimeter. Then I extended one side for about 2 centimeter. On top of that rectangle, I created a new rectangle that has a length of 50 centimeter. Those 50 centimeter will be where your crotch is gonna be. And when you want to wear this mompe over your kimono, the crotch should be very low. I tried a little and found 50 centimeter was pretty good. Width of this was 26 centimeter, and this is just what I took off from the original pattern. I tried it out, I liked it, it was okay. And I again extended one side for those 35 plus 2 centimeter, and with this I have created new ankle points. Then I marked out the bottom hem. In my case, I used the diameter of my ankles, 22 centimeter. Then I connected the new ankle points on the bottom half. And in the next step, you can already see what you can consider as your pattern. I marked everything orange here. On the extended side, I added a curve. I used a radius with 11.5 centimeter or 4.5 inches. When you have a French curve, this will help you a lot here. The next step is adding pleats. I decided to have one pleat on each side, so I marked them out in the middle. And last but not least, you have to mark out where your side seam is going to end. And this is 28 centimeter from the top. This is also something I had from the original pattern. And this makes your mompe looking like a hakama later. With this pattern, of course, I made a mock-up from a fabric I wouldn't really use then for mock-ups, and it was hilarious because I ended up with 2 colors, and even with 2 colors I didn't have enough fabric for a whole mock-up, but I could figure out what I needed to figure out. So it's actually really recommended to always make a mock-up. So even when you use my pattern as it is, make a mock-up from a very cheap, oh, I'm hungry. So I actually really recommend to always make a mock-up from a very cheap fabric. and just to check if it's the right size for you. So let's jump into the sewing process. Pin the pattern onto the fabric and mark it out. I always mark out the seams without any sewing allowance, and when it's cut done, I usually cut 1.5 centimeter from that line to create a sewing allowance. And I especially do this when I sew by hand because the line I drew will gonna be my straight line, which is going to guide me when I stitch it down. So this is my go-for method when I sew by hand. You will need 4 pieces of this, 2 on this side and 2 mirrored. Lay right side on right side and pin at the lower side seams together. And I sew them in place. I'm really sorry that I'm usually super out of frame when I make any sewing videos. I hope one day I will get used to it. I'm really sorry. For finishing off the seams, I tried a new method. I cut down the edges with zigzag scissors down to 1 centimeter from the seam. Then I fold those 2 edges to one side and iron it down. And then I finish it off with a stitch that is called mimikuge. And for me, this is one of the easiest finishing seams for kimono sewing. Well, yeah, that's my opinion. Then I pinned the crotch together, which can be super tricky. I'm sorry I didn't really catch it nicely on camera. Probably want to check out another sewing tutorial on YouTube for how to sew crotches. Or you just actually pin it together and then sew it down. And of course, don't forget to finish off the seams. I did the same method I showed you earlier. For the ties or straps, I used the fabric that I had left over. When you want to tie it like a hakama, go with a length for about 3.8 meter. I only had 2.5 meter left, so that's what I have used. With the width, I actually stuck with the pattern, but 3 centimeters should be fine. Then I fold the straps in half and press them in place. You can also see that I've already marked out the middle and where I'm going to attach it onto the Mompe. This is what I will leave open in the next step. Then I sew the straps together, and again, don't forget to not sew the part where you're going to attach it onto the Mompe. After that, I prepared the Mompe by pressing the pleats in. And because I was already pressing, I also pressed the straps in place and turned them inside out. Then I pinned the straps onto the Mompe. I recommend to start in the middle of the Mompe and middle of the straps, and then work your way from the middle to the outside on one side and on the other side. So you can make sure that your straps will definitely be in the middle. And then sew it on, and you can see, yeah, I do this by machine because I figured out this will probably a little more durable. I finally finished the openings for my feet, at least one of them, because the next one is something I'm going to try to show you, but it turned out pretty well. I did this for the first time. I know it's a real beginner's thing actually, and you know, I'm not good with Western clothes sewing, and I really don't like this seam on the outside. This actually keeps me freaking out right now, but I couldn't figure out a better way, and I had a really busy week and I just want to get this thing ready. So I think this is gonna be good enough this time, and I'm gonna figure out a better way until the next time I will make my next one. So what I have done with this, I have, can you see this? Nope. Yes, you do. I have folded this in until where I had the line for my pattern. You know, I drew the line. I also found out that the pattern was actually way too tall for me. So it's okay for me to lose a few centimeters from the pattern, and this is what I'm trying to do here by just folding this up twice. And I pinned this together. Usually I would try to iron this in place to have it nice and flat, but I think probably not ironing this would make it probably easier to put the elastic through later. I made this very even. I always do this while measuring every time I fold. I had this on 1.5 centimeter. I think it's half an inch or a little more than half an inch. I'm sorry, I'm European, inches are too big for me. And yeah, so I'm gonna sew on, I try to sew on the top line of this, a straight line. Then I will open up the side seam and pull the elastic through. As my past me just said, I sewed the straight line as close to the edge as I could. Open up one side seam and pull the elastic through this hole. When you pin a safety pin on the end of the elastic, this will help you when pulling the elastic through. But again, probably you want to check out another sewing tutorial on another channel for this. Sew the elastic together, in my case at 22 centimeters because this is the diameter of my ankles. And then I put the ends back in. And do not forget to close those side seams again. After I have turned the straps inside out, they were super bulky and out of shape, so I pressed them back into shape. In the middle, I still have only one side attached onto the Mompe. I fold this open and I add an interfacing that I have cut from the same fabric. I tuck this inside of the straps and press them down with the straps, and this will hold them into place. Then I close the last two open seams that will attach the straps perfectly onto the Mompe. And again, we are totally out of frame. I am sorry. And she is complete. This Mompe is especially designed to be worn over a normal kimono with a taiko. I'm going to wear this, for example, when I want to ride my bike and don't want to bother about it. That's why I have put this crotch so low. Probably my next Mompe is something I want to wear like a usual hakama, so I'm going to wear my kimono shorter, so the crotch will be a little higher.
Yep, and that's actually it. The reason why I made this Mompe and why I'm sharing this with you is actually because sometimes we all can't be bothered with kimono, right? And I really hate those days. So I bought a bunch of old yukata. I've posted this on my Instagram story and I told you I'm planning a little project. And the project is actually that I want to make this my daily wear the days when I don't want to be bothered with kimono, because that is what women actually wore in the 20s and 30s before and even after the war. And this is a style I really want to rediscover, and I hope you
Come with me on this journey, and I really hope you have so much fun with your Mompe. Feel free to subscribe, and I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you in my video next week. Bye!